Excuse, I've never seen that. From Browns.
Woo! Please, people, make yourselves available to each other, to the Lord. He's up there watching a beautiful life out there.
We are all responsible for one another.
He is up there caring. Be kind to each other.
Be excellent to one another.
Live your lives with love, not hate.
There's no lasers involved when the Lord's at work. With acceptance, not disapproval.
With passion and not apathy.
Through the Lord, all things are possible. When you see someone get hit by a Mack truck, go over and help them.
Give them the only thing they need to help them heal themselves. The Holy Bible.
And also call 911.
Thank you. Last show, we talked a lot about God and about being good to each other, about looking out for each other.
Would you do me a favor and forget all that shit we said?
Yeah. We have a quick correction from that show. God is dead.
This world is an empty, cold place, and you gotta find the shit that makes you happy. And you gotta do what you do to make yourself feel good. Because you're on a rock hurtling through space. There's nothing real. There's nothing real. And you gotta make your own reality. Maybe that's fashion. Maybe that's food. Maybe that's alcohol. Maybe that's drugs. Maybe that's helping people.
Maybe that's
Maybe that's switchover.
Maybe that's looking on me, towels. Try it. All right, guys. One last time. We're all together now. If it makes you feel good, woo!
John, can you give me some weights? Thank you, sir. This isn't part of the show. I'm just unplugging shit. I'm just taking the shit I unplugged into the hall. Yes! Yes! I'm not done yet! Woo! What's happening? Woo-hoo! Speakers! Yeah!
Can't believe my eyes.
Still not done yet! Power cable and remote.
More!
Yeah. Now I'm done. Hey, you can kill him, Phil.
Good evening. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, as our spirits meet yours.
As our spirits meet, we hold out a small lotus flower to you, a bearer of good tidings.
For each of us has once been a lotus flower, and will be again.
You see, life is just one big cycle. Began billions of years ago and will continue. And as I stand here before you with Dell and Jerry, I'm very happy to be on this part of the cycle with all of you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bill.
Namaste. Now, last time we were here, our lives were very different. I believe the theater saw fit to demonstrate that for you. A lot's changed since we last were here.
That's correct. We've been on a journey together these past years. We've sought one solution after another, only to turn them aside when they become just another burden in this life.
Each solution, one after the other.
We still have substance abuse problems.
That's true. That hasn't really changed much since last time. But we seek solution after solution, all to the same problem. And yet still we find ourselves here coming back just as unenlightened as ever.
Why do we continue to suffer? Why does each of us continue to suffer?
Could it be that we're choosing to subject ourselves to suffering?
Could it be that suffering is a part of existence?
I think so. Is there anyone in this room who has not suffered? I'm sorry. But I think maybe we can be grateful for that suffering.
Perhaps that suffering is a signal of the world to come, when we will no longer be reborn.
And it's that suffering that binds us in existence. For no matter where you go, no matter who you meet, suffering is the one thing that connects us all. Della and I,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm grateful for that moment that happened just now.
That moment will never occur again, and we must treasure it.
It floats off like the tiny tendril of a dandelion blowed on by a whimsical child.
And once, it is a great beacon of light, of gold, that we might value. And then we release it into the winds, into the zephyrs of our world.
We send it out as a beacon, a tiny messenger bearing good tidings for all who it may encounter.
Bearing tidings of a new path, away from the continual suffering.
It will begin anew. Or maybe it will land in fertile land, and sprout new, to send off more tiny dandelion tendrils. Or maybe it will end up in the mouth of a crow.
And pooped out over a forest. Where there is no sunlight for its green tendrils to sprout.
Maybe the poop will fall onto the head of a weary traveler. And when it does, that traveler can get all pissed off. Or he can say thank you. Dell and I have been choosing to embrace life with gratitude since the last time we met you?
We've been on many paths in this life. First, we sought to wander and find meaning on our own. Then, we sought the deity of Jesus Christ, and we thought that would bring us answers.
We called, but yet the line was never picked up. And it made us angry. Honestly, very angry. It was difficult.
We were very sad.
For a long time. It was dark. You saw the video. Was anyone at that show when we were in our dark place?
Oh, this man.
Thank you for being a part of
all
our
of you.
journey. And
Namaste.
I've been told by people who were there that it was a very uncomfortable hour. And for that, I say thank you
Thank you.
for being there with us, because we needed it.
For without discomfort, we would not be aware that change is needed. That the world continuously flows one into the other.
The tiny caterpillar is confused and scared when it begins to vomit a chrysalis around itself.
No one has taught me this. Why is this happening? I am wrapping myself in my own vomit.
Put yourselves inside that chrysalis. It's truly terrifying. But there's a greater purpose. The caterpillar emulsifies itself into a liquid containing all of its DNA. A tiny stew of caterpillar guts.
And that caterpillar is like, what is going on right now?
This is super messed up.
I was once a long thing with many legs. And now, what is this? Only 6 legs?
What?
And what is this behind me?
It hurts. What's wrong with my back?
Is this, change is suffering! Change is suffering!
Make it end. It's not worth it.
Ah, they burst into the air! And their wings dry and float into the breeze. And then they fly like 30,000 miles. To Brazil or something.
The journey of the monarch butterfly. It's a trying, difficult time for an impossibly small, impossibly stupid creature. But, may I pose the question, what makes us so different from that butterfly?
Oh. Well, you have asked the question. Because there is no difference.
There's no difference at all. Our life is full of chrysalises and terrifying emergences.
Sometimes we have a certain number of legs. And sometimes we find that we have a different number of legs than we started with.
Now, can we be terrified, confused, angry? Sure. There's nothing wrong with that.
These are the natural reactions.
But as beings gifted with thought, maybe we can give ourselves some tools to make that amputation a little less unpleasant.
We once thought those tools were cocaine.
We once thought those tools were beautiful Japanese women sucking on our toes.
We once smoked and drank those tools into oblivion. And we found no comfort, only distraction.
For you see, we were deeply injured. An injury inflicted on all of us by life. And that injury is existence. For existence is suffering, as we've all agreed on. But it's so much more than that. Existence is beautiful, is love, is a gift.
Existence is a circle with no end.
Now we can look for a map on that circle, or we can embrace not knowing where on that circle we may happen to be.
We choose the latter. Let's take a moment to let the singing bowl carry away each thought. So we may start with nothing.
Yeah, if you feel thoughts bubbling in your brain like an overheated cauldron, a roiling boil of thoughts all competing for your attention, if that is what you feel, that is okay. Just
Let each thought arrive, and then let it pass on.
and let it do so without judgment, for those thoughts are gifts, but those are gifts for later.
You might consider them now and laters.
Sometimes, if you can wait to unwrap that now and later, you'll find a nice surprise later on.
Because it got real hot out, and that now and later is real soft.
And when you feel that mushy, warm candy wrapper, you might think to yourself, there may as well be doo-doo in there.
Why does this suffering continue?
But if you open that wrapper and take that molten chocolate mess out,
Whatever it's made of.
maybe give it a taste, and say thank you. Thank you now and later.
I didn't purchase you. I found you in my coat pocket. You were a gift.
Thank you, corn syrup. Thank you, artificial coloring.
Thank you, Mars Incorporated.
When we left the Harrisburg Improv Theater 3 months ago, we decided, as we had been deciding continually for several months, that it was time to treat ourselves.
We
Yeah.
thought that was the only thing left. That's an affirmation. I hear it. And we heard it too.
And what we heard was, board a chartered plane for India.
Because we had the skitch.
We were literally, I misspoke. Thank you, Tom. For that moment was a gift. And thanks to all of you for sharing it with me. We arrived in India, 3 playboys looking to celebrate life.
You all remember Jerry.
Immediately upon landing in Calcutta, we rented 3 Lamborghini Diablos and set out into the countryside.
Then we hired 2 people to drive the other 2 Diablos.
Gracie, it's much more fun to travel together than alone.
And we hotboxed that Diablo for
We
days on end.
We did not get our security deposit returned. Eventually, we found ourselves at the end of a dirt road with nothing before us but a small village.
In India, most of the roads are dirt.
And they all have an end at some point. We walked into the village, looking to throw some money around in exchange for a good time. really all we knew how to do at that point.
We were just walking around with handfuls of cash, saying words that were sort of in Indian, but we didn't really know what we were saying.
The people of that village live on 25 cents per day.
If they're lucky.
Now, you see, the thing about driving a Lamborghini on a dirt road, at some point, it will cease to function. Ours chose to cease functioning in a fiery blaze of glory.
It was the coolest thing we had ever seen.
You better believe we Snapchatted that. Hashtag dope. We decided to stay a few days in the village to regroup and wait for more Lamborghinis to arrive.
It turns out a 12-year-old boy will do a lot for you if you give him a Lamborghini. I don't mean anything weird by that.
Nothing weird happened.
Unless you count him sourcing drugs for us weird.
I don't think that's that weird. We've all done it. Now, the thing about people in this village that began to dawn on Dell, Jerry, and I is that though they lived in small huts made of mud, living a simple farming life, they were all far happier than the three of us.
We couldn't figure out the source of their joy, for they had no silk pajamas. They had no hardwood floors.
No regular customer cards at 5-star restaurants. And yet they were happier than us.
They sang with joy and great spirit as they ran throughout the village.
They dined together at long tables full of happiness and laughter.
And as they dipped their hands into the communal rice bowl, we thought, what is it we are missing? What can we bring back to our followers in the United States?
We still, I feel comfortable saying, do not know the answer to that question.
But when we got back, we watched a lot of YouTube videos on Buddhism.
I do feel pretty comfortable saying that those videos did at least point us in the right direction.
Sometimes I can't help but think, what would have happened if we had met those people after we saw those YouTube videos?
Maybe we could have joined them instead of pouting in a corner of the village, waiting to be picked up, asking why we're so miserable. We didn't find happiness in God and Christianity. We didn't find happiness in saying that there was no meaning and no purpose to life.
We didn't find happiness from physical pleasure.
We found times where we felt we really did think we were pretty happy.
There were times when we were up for 86 hours straight, just buying stuff online.
We didn't even add it to our carts, we just turned on the instant buy. Go on hour-long binges.
Do you know what it's like to have a truck pull up at your door and say there are 3 more trucks behind you?
It feels good for a little while. But at some point they've unloaded the crates full of boxes, full of toys, and they've gone away. You find yourself alone, driving a go-kart through your massive living room.
Have you ever seen that movie Blank Check? That was our life every day. But we were adults.
We threw money at our problems for as long as we possibly could. But it was like bailing water out of a sinking ship.
Then, a miracle happened. We accidentally set all our money on fire.
When you're blazed 24/7, that's surprisingly easy to do.
We still don't know why all of it was in a pile in the backyard.
I just thought it looked cool. It was kind of one of my projects for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I called it.
That's what you were doing.
I called it Money Mountain. But the earth is on fire. All of this is fleeting. And so is Money Mountain.
So we've returned to you to say we are sorry. We have led you astray yet again.
Thank you for returning. For we seek to undo the damage we have done with our continual visits to visit you. Each arrival seeking to undo the damage of the last.
And once again, we must ask you, what problems are you having in your life? Because we're here to solve them.
If anyone would like to share a real problem from their life, we would be eternally grateful.
I bought my wife the wrong color of paint.
The wrong, sorry?
Color of paint.
The wrong color of paint.
She's very upset.
Sir, was this indoor or outdoor paint?
Indoor.
May I ask you, forgive me for crying, but is the paint currently on the wall or in the bucket?
In the bucket.
It is a problem. Now, I can certainly understand being distressed by this situation. You may feel that you have disappointed your wife. You may feel like a doofus.
I also bought the wrong amount of shredded lettuce for her taco party.
Too much or too little?
Too little.
Damn.
You could only know how many times we had too much lettuce. And we considered it a blessing.
At one point, I'm doing that a lot tonight. At one
We
point,
still have a lot of substance abuse problems.
my brain kind of feels like an aquarium with a big fish swimming around.
It's like that old Windows screensaver.
Every now and then it spits out a little air bubble, and then I say words. I hope they work right. At one point, we had so much lettuce that we had to sell one of our lettuce farms. We would literally agonize for hours. Look at all this lettuce around us. What the fuck are we gonna do with all this lettuce? We've been eating salads for days.
Why did we try to diversify in this way?
We didn't get into agriculture for the right reason.
You gotta want it.
We didn't want it.
For we have gotten rid of most of our desires. For you see, there is a cause of all suffering, and that is our desire. For your wife desired the correct amount of lettuce. And because that lettuce was not provided, she suffered. Let's get at the root of this problem. It wasn't because you messed up.
It was because you wanted to not mess up.
It was because she wanted you to not mess up. But if you release those desires into the world, no one's unhappy.
If you're able to look at the incorrect color of paint still sitting in its bucket, ready to be returned at any moment, you can gaze upon that bucket, say thank you. Thank you for being here, paint bucket, for though you are not the color that I desired, nor did my wife desire, you're the one that is here for me. Now that you're here, I may do with you as I see fit. Maybe I will return you, or maybe I will realize that that mistake was just my subconscious telling me that maybe I'd like a different color on the walls. Either way, the reason this is a problem is because of desire.
Oh, did you feel that? The weight that lifted from your shoulders?
Did you feel that problem just fly away off of your back? There it goes. For we all walk around with vultures on us. These vultures are our thoughts and our feelings of inadequacy, of pain, of jealousy. We bind these vultures to ourselves.
We say, we will wait until a part of us dies, and then we will feed you, vultures.
It's part of human nature. You know, in some ways, maybe we love being eaten alive by vultures. Self-pity can be awfully tempting.
It can be addictive. It can be as addictive as cocaine.
It's very addictive.
But as we let these addictions to suffering go, we feel the weight lifted, and we move forward down the path. And with that, maybe raise the lights as a metaphor for our enlightenment.
Now, my first reaction to this light is that it's blinding and a little uncomfortable. I may not have chosen, if it were up to me, to have raised the lights just now. My pupils had adjusted to the previous amount of light, which was a lot less. But now, I'm grateful for this light, for I can feel it raising my spirit.
And this light has made us aware of our uncomfortable feelings. And now, our insecurities are brought into the open for all to see.
You can see better than before the sweat of my brow, the wrinkles of my shirt,
The sweat in our pits.
the zit I had a week ago. It still left a little shadow.
The hair on the back of my neck that I should trim.
I'm grateful to expose these weaknesses to all of you. For if I can embrace them and be comfortable with them, they're no longer weaknesses. They are a part of me. I'm grateful for every part of me. The good, the bad, the take it or leave it. They all are part of us.
Once we only shared these things with one another. I shared my weaknesses with Belle, with Jerry. In return, they shared their own.
No, it was uncomfortable at first to admit to Dell that I had a serious cocaine addiction. It brought us together.
And you know what? There was a part of me that already knew.
It was getting pretty bad.
I remember once I walked into Dell's house because we had broken the door earlier. And I saw him snorting that line in the shape of the United States.
I called it 50 States of Coke.
He even drew Hawaii and Alaska. just off to the side.
I drew them to scale.
Do you guys realize how big Alaska is?
It'll get you pretty fucked up. Now, Dell walked through that empty doorway and found me in my moment of shame, snorting an entirely geographically accurate Coke map of the United States of America. It was a shameful moment. I was sorry for what he had seen. But even more so than being sorry for him having seen it, I was ashamed of myself for having done it.
What excess. But you were not alone in your shame,
No.
for you caught me doing just an egregious thing.
Mhm. Dell and I long ago stopped knocking on doors when we were in the same place. This led to some awkward moments in the bathroom. One morning I was quite excited to tell Dell that I had just ordered a brand new Tesla off the internet. So I ran over to his house and straight up to his bedroom, intending to wake him up, but what I found
You must say it. For the benefit of all of us.
I try not to think of it.
Jerry, that's a dope beat. Back to our story.
Dell had set up a secure channel of communication between him and the Kremlin in Russia.
I
And he
laid a
was-
hard line from my house to the Kremlin.
and he was selling what he thought were state secrets that he had found. But what actually turned out to be just a bunch of crazy shit he had written on his last acid trip. And the Kremlin was not amused.
But
He was in a
just,
tough spot.
yes, perhaps the toughest of spots. But there was a silver lining, as there is in every problem. Because they were not actually state secrets, I was not tried for treason. I was just tried for substance abuse. I had a pretty big stash at that point.
We tried to plead no contest.
I thought that meant that no one would dispute our not guilty claim.
Yeah, we thought it was kind of like a I did it but I'm innocent sort of thing.
You know, like guilty by reason of insanity.
Yeah, guilty by like, come on man, just chill. But the US government did not take our transgressions lightly.
But luckily, we were very wealthy.
And that can get you out of nearly anything in this country.
What was that kid? Affluenza? Turns out
We
that
used
works on adults too.
we used to party with him a lot.
He was kind of a dick.
Yeah, but he would do some crazy shit once he got all jazzed up.
Maybe we should solve some more problems.
Let's do it. Does anyone else have a problem they'd like to
My
share?
air conditioner's broken
Mm.
in my house.
A problem that at once seems impossible to solve.
Let's attack this thing at the root. For what does an air conditioner give us that we desire? It cools down our house on hot days. It makes us comfortable. Comfort is what we desire. All human beings do.
And we once sought that comfort. We once sought that distraction.
Continually. Many people in the world live without air conditioning. Many people don't need cool, compressed air to be comfortable in their own skin.
The happiest people we've ever met had never seen an air conditioner.
They thought the concept was kind of weird. You put a box in your window, it makes air cold.
Honestly, they could take it or leave it.
And so if you gave them an air conditioner, they had the electricity to run it. Yeah, maybe they'd sweat a little less. But they're already comfortable. They don't need that. And so I ask you to ask yourself, do you really need your house to be a cool 72 on a summer day? Could you be happy without that? As literally billions of people on Earth are?
He's nodding his head yes.
Well, when you put it like that, yeah.
Sounds like a half yes. Like a, yeah, I don't want to be an asshole, but I want my air conditioner fixed. It's understandable.
We meet you where you're at, sir. The divinity in us recognizes the divinity in you. And you might not be ready to get rid of that air conditioner, and that's okay. Because you're just going to be reborn in a new body with new problems until you can recognize that suffering for what it is.
And as I assume you will get that air conditioner repaired and your house restored to a cool 72, I ask you, once you return to your cool house, to appreciate all those hot days, those sleepless nights you awoke sweaty in bed. Be grateful for them, for without those nights, you won't appreciate the cool ones where you sleep well. And so maybe through that lens and through that perspective, you can appreciate your air conditioner being broken.
Now, there is something we normally do when we speak in front of an audience, and that is the lightning round. But we've been taking things a little slower recently. And so instead, we're going to take all the problems that you didn't voice, and we're going to lead you in a guided meditation. So that you may release them, or at least recognize them.
We will be seated. If you would, please close your eyes.
Relax your muscles.
Draw your attention to your breath. And notice for a second, is it slow and calm? Or is it quick with hesitation? And judge not, no matter which it is. But may you notice and bring your attention to it and recognize it. As you continue to follow your breath, I want you to picture yourself flying through the air. You can't see any land or water. It is only sky surrounding you.
Forces of physics hold no sway over you. And you can see the turning of the planets around you.
You're not falling or flying, merely existing, merely taking in a passenger on a roller coaster which you have no control over.
Now you turn to your right and to your left. What is this? An albatross has come to greet you.
The albatross is flying in place beside you. It gives you a quick wink.
This albatross is your power animal.
And it wants to guide you.
Climb aboard its back.
Ride that albatross into the sunset. And eventually, as you grow more and more comfortable upon the bird's back, you seek to ask it a question.
What is the question? You already know.
You don't even have to ask the albatross before it answers. The answer is you already know.
Suddenly the clouds clear around you, and you see clearly the land and water beneath you.
You're flying down to an island. It's a small island with sand beaches and tall trees. There are more albatross waiting for you.
They fold their enormous wings, nodding in supplication.
As you grow closer, you see that the albatross is, I'm not sure how you pluralize that. You see the albatross have a barbecue pit. And as you grow closer, the smells of the barbecue waft their way towards your nose. They beckon you, come to the barbecue.
One albatross is wearing an apron.
It says, kiss the cook.
You do so.
The albatross chuckles and smiles at you.
And as you gaze into his eyes, you realize they are the eyes of your mother.
And soon you're being swallowed by those eyes. You find yourself in an existence totally blank. And you feel nothing but happiness.
hear only a heartbeat.
And as you listen to that beating heart, you begin to open your eyes.
You recognize the faces around you. You recognize the pews you sit on.
You recognize the improv theater in which you reside.
You recognize 3 men before you.
And you feel better.
Namaste. That's our show, everybody. Thank you very much. Check out hbtimprov.com for more information on shows and classes. You're going to want to do this with us. You're going to want to be up here. I promise you. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.